previous example, guests.html works fine in Internet Explorer, but you're in for a surprise if you take a look in Firefox or Mozilla or Netscape Navigator. And the problem is that there, by default, all whitespace nodes, that's the indentation nodes you see here, are treated as text nodes. This is not the case in Internet Explorer, but it is the case in Firefox and Mozilla Netscape Navigator. So, in other words, the first child of the event element is actually this text space node. It's unexpected, but that's the way it is. The indentation, even indentation text is treated as text node. So the first child of the event node is this text node. So if you were looking for the event title node, you might say event node.firstChild and expect to get the event title, which you would in Internet Explorer, but instead in Firefox you get that text node as the first node. So that means you're going to have to modify your guests.html example in order to handle all these text nodes and navigate around them when you're looking for the first and last names of the celebrity guest. So here's what that looks like. This is guests firefox.html. This is the display guest function inside it, which is past the XML document object. And first start off by getting the XML document object's document element. That corresponds to the events node. Okay, and that's no problem. That's the events node. Now we want to get to the event node. And so you have to say is event node equals events node dot first child. Okay, so that is the events node's first child. That's actually this text node. That is not, the first child is not the event node. So now we're at the text node, and you actually have to say first child dot next sibling. So that gets you to the event node. So in other words, you're stuck by default navigating around all the text nodes inside this document. To continue, if you want to get to the people node, you have to say event node dot last child, event node dot last child, and you might think that would be the people node, but in fact it's not. It is this text node. So event node dot last child is in fact that text node, and so you have to say event node dot last child dot previous sibling. The previous sibling is then the people node. So as you can see, navigating around this way is fairly awkward, and you can see even more so here. In order to get the person node, you have to go to people node dot first child dot next sibling, next sibling, next sibling, next sibling, next sibling, and so on. So it's really annoying. As you see, you have to navigate through the document treating the text nodes as true nodes. Even though they're just used for indentation text, they have nothing but spaces in them, you have to take them into account by default in Firefox. And so after you've done all of this and navigated around all the text nodes, does it actually work? Get the celebrity guest. This is Firefox. Main guest was Cary Grant. So yes, in fact, it does work, and unfortunately, it's very awkward to have to navigate around all the text nodes inside the document, as you see here. I mean, after all, who wants to do people node dot first child dot next sibling dot next sibling dot next sibling dot next sibling dot next sibling? It's very awkward coding, and so what we're going to do in the next movie is see how to strip out the white space from an XML document before working with it, and that will let you work with and handle XML documents in Firefox, Mozilla, Netscape Navigator, and Internet Explorer in all the same ways. And we're going to see how to strip out white space out of an XML document coming up next, allowing you to work with XML documents in a cross-browser way without worrying about what browser you're working with, whether or not it's a Firefox type or a Microsoft Internet Explorer type. You can see it's much better to have one set of code to handle both, rather than having to deal with next sibling, next sibling, next sibling, next sibling for Firefox and not have to use that kind of terminology, not have to use that extra code to navigate around text nodes in Internet Explorer. So we're going to see next how to strip white space out of XML documents so you can handle that XML document the same in a cross-browser fashion.